right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we're getting ready to jump into this next match. Now, FaZe taking on Dignitas. Moses going into this one. Your thoughts on this match here on Mirage?
I think Dignitas is playing at such a good level right now. Obviously, so much has been said about Magisboy and Config, and really not enough almost can be said about how well they've been playing recently. I want to more focus on FaZe with how they're going to be able to. Alu with the AWP, this is a map that can lend favor to him. Kerrigan, this has been one of his specialist maps, even on Astralis. Like, this was always one of the maps that he did best on. So there are some pieces here in this FaZe team, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, at E-League they beat, was it Cloud9 on this map? I could be wrong on that one, but might have been Immortals. It's one of those two teams, but they put together very quickly on it because, Kerrigan hasn't had a lot of time to actually sit down and practice with this team or kind of start to institute things. They've kind of been doing it on the fly as they play in these events these past 2 weeks. Even so, that first look at Mirage was very good. It was Immortals. I'm remembering that it was Immortals.
Okay.
It just came to me right now.
All right.
Yeah,
it's good that you figured that out.
Yeah, it was a very impressive win from them, and just the amount of talent they have on this team. If they get rolling, that's always the scary part. I think for most teams playing FaZe right now is that once they get on some kind of momentum, once they get rolling, if they get out to a hot start, the talent on this team is very difficult to hold down.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like they're going into the knife round now, so we should be able to jump into the game itself in just a little bit here. FaZe Clan are going to be ending up taking control of that knife round, which means they will be able to get the start off on the CT side. A bit of an easy start for them, and for Dignitas, they're going to have to start off probably on the T side here and innovate from there, of course.
Yeah, if they want to. The interesting thing is with a team like FaZe, that it might not even be a bad thing to start on the T side, even though it's less favored on this map. Sometimes when you get these teams that are based on momentum and based on the skill, especially with what we saw against the Immortals, it was a week ago. They might have added some new things into this map, but it was very much like their attacks were more grouped. So it was very much kind of like we don't have the technical, we don't have the tactical know-how on this map quite yet as a unit under Kerrigan, but we can certainly use the skill to overwhelm things. So sometimes it's not bad with new teams. Oftentimes you'll see them have better T halves than their CT halves because it requires a little bit more communication, a little bit more organization when you have to be aggressive, when you have to rotate. So it might not be the worst idea in the world if FaZe chooses to start T.
Yeah, and of course, looking at Dignitas once again, I think you mentioned before we went live that they played this map yesterday too, playing it against Energy. Now, obviously not the biggest challenge there, but we saw how strong their performance was still, and the fact that the two big players here, Config and Magisboy, have not been affected at all, still carrying over their strong performances from the last event that they played at, and with that, of course, we're looking to them to carry that into the next day here too. Magisboy looked like an absolute monster against him yesterday, as did Config, but it really was him. We didn't really get to see much from the other guys, but if they bring a strong performance here too, it just seems like at the moment Dignitas is unstoppable.
Yeah, well, especially, you have a little bit more faith in them being unstoppable once you see them come back on the T side of Nuke against NIP last night. Going down 11-4 when you're CT on Nuke and then going into that second half and making that comeback. That's just what they talked about on the desk is Dignitas has shown in these past two events. This one early on, but definitely at Epicenter. And even in tournaments leading up to this, we've seen them improving. We've seen the progress being made, that this is a team that is strong in many different facets of the game. So they got good very, very quickly. And right now, with the momentum that they're on after winning that event, definitely a tough team to stop. And we saw as well, Magisboy, even yes, against Energy, what he can do when he's feeling it. Some of those rounds he was pulling out yesterday were crazy to watch. So you can just see the straight skill. I think the big X factor here for FaZe, though, is going to be Kerrigan and this being a specialty map for him, just because if he can have that kind of an impact right now, when I talked to him in Atlanta after E-League, he mentioned the one tough thing is not only as an in-game leader is it difficult to have the kind of individual output in terms of fragging and focus on your own game, but when you step into a new team, especially a new team with all these different nationalities, all these different, the communication factor of having that, he's having to do a lot more of organizing, of thinking, of really micromanaging when they want to execute any kind of tactic, any kind of the basic strategies that they have. So that's the big thing. If he can step it up, and if this continues to be a specialty map for him and he has a big performance here, I think that's going to be phenomenal for FaZe.
All right, guys. Well, we are getting into it now. The pistol round getting started. FaZe jumping onto the T side first, and Dignitas will be starting over on the defense. The CT side for them. Let's get into it now and take a look and see it. Which team will come out on top as the group stage play continues here. The ESL Pro League Finals. FaZe Clan not sending anyone over here towards A at the beginning of the round. In fact, all of their players, for the most part, with the exception of Kerrigan initially, but even he's going to group up with them, are heading into the apartments. It's going to be a swift take. Config gets an early preview of it, but now it's on the way. Only does a little bit of damage here to Alu, and now it's going to fall to MSL to do a little bit more, but nothing being taken at all. FaZe Clan has shut it down. Rubino Rise finally picks up something for this CT side, but now the problem is they're on full retake duty.
This is the kind of tactics you can expect. Fast-paced, aggressive, and look at the retake slowly. Cajun Beast coming in. Phenomenal pistol player, but he gets taken out. That's the Tech 9 and Armor, the raid boss. And there's Jacob as well. Magisk has nothing left to do, 5 HP, and he gets taken out. This is why I'm saying that FaZe Clan starting on the T side isn't a bad thing, because they can run these simple kind of strategies. I mean, that's just a standard B-rush. Right out of spawn, no cares in the world, and they take it over. And I mean, it kind of neutralizes one of the advantages of Dignitas being a team and having more experience as 5 and being much more organized. It kind of takes away that organization if you're going to be this fast and this aggressive.
And for Team Dignitas here now, we will just see them investing into, for the most part, upgraded pistols. The usual second round investment for the CT side. AZ wasting no time going out there and even hits the shot against Cage and brings him down to 22 HP. Easy control for the FaZe Clan roster to get right out towards mid and start to work up towards the sites.
A good mid control early on. It's not going to matter a whole lot. Oh, these deagles, I mean, these are going to be a little bit scary when Alu starts turning the corner. Config going to be on the stairs, and he's just kind of he's kind of the one that's going to find information. MSL, I think he just spotted him there, but the rest of FaZe is going to be running right into Magisk. He's pushed down, but he falls. He can't get anything done, and now Alu's in a great position. Although he's getting flanked from 2 sides. He's got players to his right, players to his left, and he's kind of stuck. And there he is. He falls. A tough situation to be in, but there should be no more danger from FaZe as they have the AKs at range. MSL gets one more kill. If he can add on another headshot at the end, that'd be great, but it's not going to happen. And even time for FaZe to salvage that AK-47 and connector.
FaZe will go up 2-0, of course, losing minimal losses, taking minimal losses, I should say, here. Jacob and Al are the only 2 that end up going down there, and obviously they can eat that up on the T side with it being a lot more forgiving. It's Dignitas now to go on to the full save, just P250s here. Very light buy for them on the 3rd round as they wait for the first real gun round. We will see how that plays out, of course, after this one. For now, however, FaZe Clan are just going to spread their players out, take things slow, I imagine, but eventually lead this into a mid to a split eventually into that site. Now, one player from the CT side dove very quickly in underpass, and that's MSL. Maybe it'll surprise in a moment by peeking back out, but the FaZe Clan roster wasting no time getting into this site. There's 1, 2, 3 kills already in their favor. Not a whole lot that the guys from Dignitas can do to upset against this, but MSL from the underpass did find 1 frag. That's it, though. The rest of it's going to be traded out very quickly by FaZe.
I think this 4th round, I think, is going to be extremely important for Dignitas in this matchup. If they can stop, if FaZe continues to be this aggressive, obviously, I mean, they're going to have to, take liberties with the fact they're going against rifles now. But if they're going to continue to open up this half with an aggressive game plan, a fast-paced game plan, if Dignitas can't stop it, it could just snowball out of control. So this first round, if they can shut it down and shut it down extremely effectively, that's when you start making FaZe say, okay, maybe the fast things aren't going to work. Maybe we have to switch things up. Config, he's going to get dropped. That's a nice shot by AZ, a good find, and a 5-on-4 advantage for FaZe in this round.
AZ absolutely destroying things at the beginning of this one, and now the rest of Dignitas, well, they're split all across the map here. Rubino, the only real defense left back over here into the middle area of the map, and he's wasting time back over here in the ladder room too, just waiting to see if they're going to eventually go for the pushback over here on a cat, which actually might be obliged with that. MSL also defending it too. But it's a very, very slow process now from FaZe Clan to inch up towards that position so that they can eventually execute. They've gotten to the edge of Cat. They've got players waiting over here in the apartments area. They're ready to go for it, and the defenses on the B site, well, they're non-existent. It's just MSL watching Cat. They're not expecting him, however, to be that close up, so he's going to catch that first player. Not expecting a second one, so it's a quick trade from Kerrigan. Vino's going to sort of counter-trade that one as he moves back in. He shuts down Kerrigan, but nonetheless, the site is still under the control of the T's.
Yeah, there's only 1 kit as well. That's on Cajun, and he looks like he wants to rotate up through. Oh, this is dangerous, actually, with the Soul kit, him being split from the teammates, and actually this big flank. If he gets picked off here by Alu, then Rubino and Magisk have to hurry up if they're going to continue forward into this retake. Good setup. As long as Alu can find the timing to watch his back against Cajun. No pressure yet from Catwalk. It's now coming up. That pulls Alu away, but he wins the battle with Cajun anyways. That's huge. That's the kit. Jacob chimes in, and Magisk, he knows he just has to save. He can do absolutely nothing here. So FaZe, they're going to get a 4th round.
And with that one, they're on the path to taking control of a huge lead here at the beginning of this. Still plenty of time for Dignitas to turn things back on their heels, but Magic's boy looking to save. He's even going to be challenged here too, but manages to maintain that situation. Takes down Rain. Rain doesn't even check the back boxes there, so it's a free kill for him. Magic's boy keeps the rifle in check, but obviously won't be seeing much else beyond that here from the CT side in this 5th round.
Yeah, now they're going to be back onto a save. The one thing they didn't have in that previous was any kind of an AWP because of the 2nd round investment. So the next gun round coming up, Dignitas will be able to bring that out if they choose to. But for the moment, it's a good start for FaZe, and that's exactly what they need on this T side. They need to keep this Dignitas economy in a constant state of flux, constant state of weakness to give themselves to help even out the gap between these teams, as Dignitas has been playing so well, as we've said. Alu with the pick there, and I mean, look, it's just more aggression, going aggressively for that peak, and now that they have it, just taking liberties, taking control of the B halls. Jacob jumping out, Rubino's gone. utilizing the skill perfectly of these FaZe player. Kerrigan has his team with what's going to be a 5-0 lead.
Now we'll see the FaZe Clan roster hold control once again, like they have in many rounds of the past here. It's quick to hold it. Dignitas are not really doing a great job of putting that resistance there. Not like they really could have, of course, in this round, but they've even got players waiting out in mid. Kerrigan, a bit slow to be able to pick up that player who does push out towards mid, and he starts to fall away. Now the rest of the CT side, of course, looks to save here, and most importantly, looks to carry Magic's Boys rifles that they can save that extra money. But they also want to try to see if they can take down one or two of these players. The challenge against Kerrigan. He jumps up onto a good position, and Rain comes in to support from underpass there too. Him and Jacob knock up 2 kills. That's KGB and Config that have gone down. Magic's Boy still in the area, just around the wrap here from the steps position. He's going to try to take down Rain himself, and as he pushes up the steps, he holds. There's 2 more looking at challenge from in connector, and now that rifle's going to get dropped by AZ.
Really good play from Rain as well. Even though he doesn't get the kill, he just holds Magic's Boy there, who's taking the fight, not trying to save that gun, so he's forcing the rebuy. Might not seem like much, but it will later on. Cajun and Rubino busting out a double op setup. That's going to be big for Dignitas to get them started. And I mean, here's the thing, those ops can not only slow down the aggressive pressure from FaZe, but so can the Molotovs, the smokes, the nades that MSL, Config, and Magis can now be equipped with on this 6th round.
See FaZe Clan again moving themselves, specifically AZ, out towards the top mid area. This time finally investigating over here towards Palace and the T-ramp though, which has been left pretty much untouched for this T side throughout most of the half so far. Jacob as well in a moment here is going to go through underpass and probably group up with the players that are eventually possibly going to push into top mid if they don't fall back and regroup with the others at T-ramp.
You could say AZ and Alu. I mean, FaZe thinks that maybe Dignitas is going to pull a creative play out. Oh, Jacob, that's a beautiful shot. That's one of the ops down as well. MSL's going to swap out for it. I don't think he's going to expect this. He's not. Jacob gives up the refrag. Back to a 4-on-4, and MSL switches back to the M4 as he drops out. But FaZe thought there was going to be something tricky going on. There were going to be a mid-push. AZ and Alu just now securing top mid control.
Guys from Dignitas, however, shaking a little bit now. They're going to split themselves up and still keep most of their assets over here to the A-bomb site, which is a good thing, too, because FaZe Clan haven't changed up the game plan. As they're still looking to eventually execute this over here into the A-bomb site with 2 outside of connector now, and the other 2 over in Palace and T-ramp getting ready to push themselves in. The counter smoke comes in against Kerrigan. He's going to have to hold for a moment here, and as you can see, Rain is not being given a whole lot of vision either. He's still stuck behind that smoke. The guys from connector need to be the ones to make the first move. Actually, Rain is going to take a chance on it. Goes through in a sandwich there, goes hunting, but it doesn't work out. Config and Magic's Boy find 2 kills, and Magic's Boy even holds off and finds another one there. That's Kerrigan getting knocked down. Alu's the last man standing. He sneaks 1 out on MSL, but that's it. Cajun B immediately trades it. And we see another round go up on the board there.
Yeah, nice hold from Magis. Gets a little bit of a benefit from Kerrigan getting stuck on that ladder just a little bit. But if he falls there, that turns into trouble. And the important thing is surviving with so many players alive. They don't have to reinvest too much. They have the double op setup still. I mean, their economy is still not strong. This would be huge if FaZe can respond here. That would be a huge benefit to this half. They could start really running away with it right off the bat. No map control here for FaZe. They're going to send Alu with the op instead of towards B. He's going to come up towards A. The big danger is Cajun here, holding the angle. No flash, and AZ's going to walk right into it. Not prepared for that whatsoever. Not even considering it. All that's left is really, I mean, because they have no mid control. Looks like Rain and Kerrigan are actually maybe thinking about falling back. It's just going to be Rain. Kerrigan, Alu, and Jacob are going to be left to try and take over this A bomb site.
Jacob Molly back off of the Palace there too. Jumps himself back, and actually a great nade that's tossed back in. Kerrigan down at 63 HP after that one. And we don't really see much innovation beyond that. Ray moved himself out towards mid, but he's not going to find anything here. It's been very light on the defenses from Dignitas in mid throughout most of the half so far. They do have Rubino wrapped around the corner, but Cajun B also watching out for connector pressure. Destroys Rain. However, a missed shot from Cajun B allows Alu to pick him off, and now they have an opening to get themselves in. But first they got to worry about Magic's Boy. He picks up a quick kill against Jacob. Heavy cost to himself, which will not be traded out by Kerrigan. But now Config, one falls, another shot take his place. Config and Rubino move in, shutting down the last 2 from FaZe. Puts up the first 2 onto the board for Dignitas.
All right, they've done it. Dignitas has set up the first obstacle because now they've really stabilized their economy. They have the money. Another 3 players survive. It's not, they haven't built up too much, but they've at least ensured that they can't get a hard reset. So FaZe, this time they won't have an AWP on Alu. They've got to figure something out because there's a couple rounds now Dignitas has stopped them. And that easy advantage, breaking the economy and getting a couple free rounds essentially for FaZe, that's no longer an option. So this T side is about to get a much more difficult. And what does Kerrigan have so far with this team? Cajun, 1 kill for him, and then he's holding off on the secondary peak. He's blocked in, they know it, but buying time as he's just hiding and even predicting the Molotov, he's going to be able to get out. And there's Magic's Boy with another onto Kerrigan. The bomb is down as well towards A, so Rubino, MSL, Cajun, they're all going to start leaning towards the A site. No need for them to stay at B.
Arlo trying to trade back over there at Palace, but there's nothing to be found here. The guys from Dignitas aren't handing them anything at all. And with the bomb lost, it's not looking great. Magic's boy even sneaks back into Palace to ensure, of course, that Alu's not going to be any threat to them on the re-peak. 5-on-2, no ground whatsoever gained from FaZe Clan at all. AZ just stuck over here at top mid, and Jacob, well, he's going to get one shot by Config on the peak from Steps. Now it's just AZ here. Racks up at least one, but down to 16 HP, and will very quickly get knocked out of the round by Config. Dignitas all of a sudden with a bit of a streak here and very quickly could tie this match back up.
Yeah, this was the big thing. I mean, five rounds for FaZe on the T side. That's they're obviously want as many as they can get, and they're gonna want more. But 5 rounds isn't bad so far. It's just Dignitas. That was the big thing, is stabilizing early on, because if that had gotten any farther than 5 rounds, FaZe could have just ran away with it, because then you get to the point where you have to constantly buy and weak buys at that. So now that they've gotten their ops out, it's much, much easier for Dignitas, and they're starting to exert this dominance that we've seen out of them. Rubino again with an opening kill. Ooh, there's Config. Didn't even see Kerrigan coming.
Kerrigan shutting him down as he walks around the smoke at first, and not really a lot of resistance left in mid here itself, but Rubino able to pick off at least one of them. Kerrigan's going to get himself boosted up into the window room. And now he slowly inches forward, hunting for more. They've split up the remaining players on Dignitas. They've got a 2-2 split across the map here. Again, though, the bomb itself positioned much closer and leading into a B hit. But this flank at the moment leading in from Kerrigan could have huge results if it nets him at least 1 or 2 kills. MSL starting to get a bit curious, however, and he's looking in the direction of Market. And thusly, he's going to move over to check when he starts to lurk his way out. Rubino shutting out Rain should put an end to most of the threat from FaZe Clan here now. With Alu just left alive with a measly little Deagle, it will certainly be the 4th round of the Dignitas roster.
Yeah, not a whole lot Alu can do, obviously. So the question comes, what's the change Kerrigan is going to make? Are they going to go back to something a little bit more fast-paced? Because they have kind of, I mean, they've done that. They've done the slower mid-control that they've gotten stopped in. They've done the flat-out A hit that they've gotten picked off on. And that's the big thing. That's the big strength of this double op setup from Dignitas right now, is they're finding the picks. Even if it's not the ops, the rifles know exactly where they can get aggressive based on where their teammates are playing with the AWP. So FaZe is going to have to find a way to not take too many losses early on in this next round. And Alu, a chance here, but Rubino and MSL combine to take him down at the end.
There we go, Dignitas finding ground to work with here. FaZe Clan, of course, being able to reinvest into this round. And be part of the course, of course. Alu getting the op into his hands. Armor will be bought up in just a moment. Everybody else being able to get AK. So nothing out of the ordinary here from this T side. And Dignitas still remaining strong themselves. Now going for the double op setup themselves. Rubino and Cajun B picking it up for the CT side.
It is going to be back towards that mid-control play. Rubino this time, he's going to get aggressive with an AWP over and towards the A Palace. Cajun is going to get aggressive on Catwalk, so him and Config have a decent crossfire. Config watching beneath to make sure Cajun can't get caught off guard. The question is, how much does Cajun want to commit to this? Doesn't seem like it's too much. He's putting himself in a position to be able to fall back very quickly. And nothing coming from that aggression early on. He sees nothing, feels no pressure, and just so safely falls back towards the B bomb site. So full mid-control for FaZe Clan. What can they leverage from this? The bomb is in the upper B tunnel, so you'd expect this could be some kind of catwalk hit. Jacob could come meet up. Jacob, it looks like, wants to get in towards connector and maybe be a cutoff for the rotations. But no, he's just going to go back. So this is going to be a split on that B bomb site. 3 from B tunnels, 2 from catwalk.
And Dignitas just checked a moment ago inside of Palace. I didn't see anything whatsoever. Rubino is being the one to check that, so they still have a pretty heavy commitment onto it, so it's going to rely mainly on Cajun B here to hold off the cap pressure, and of course back over onto MSL to watch out for the Palace pressure. Flashbang is perfect. Cajun B cannot stop them from jumping back over here, and he doesn't see anything at all. He's no clue just how close they're getting to this site, and as he walks into the open, Kerrigan and Jacob are able to take down both Cajun B and MSL. Rotations arrive rather quickly, however. They're already in market. One player looking out from window there, and a second back over here in the doorway. Config finding one, but AZ and Alu move in to shut things down. Magic's boy, not anything that he can try and do in this 1v3. He'll have to fall out towards mid and save.
Yeah, nice play from FaZe. Mid-control that entire time, never pressured. Dignitas didn't really battle for it. And MSL, he was making a phenomenal play in upper B, but he gets distracted just a little bit by one player making a lot of progress up catwalk, and his eyes get taken away, and then he has the disadvantage, or he's disadvantaged in the fight he takes. So FaZe are going to get a 6. They're going to start responding here, but they've got to string them together. There's still plenty of money built up on the Dignitas side from that 4-round run to have a good buy in the next one. Magisboy actually saving this AK would be phenomenal from him, and that's 2 kills. Taking weapons away, forcing rebuys on the T side, and Alu. That op is way, way too valuable. Even that jump back seemed a little bit risky, but it's all right. He's going to get away with it.
And that amount of damage is actually going to be really, really great here, too. It brings the FaZe Clan down to a very manageable amount of cash here if Dignitas are able to still upset in this following round. They maintain control, of course, as Dignitas were on the cusp of tying it up, but if they can drop it here, they'll still immediately break the economy for the T side and put them onto a full save directly afterwards. So now we'll take a look and see if they'll be able to do that. Of course, FaZe Clan, they've been sticking with mid control for pretty much this entire half, and, well, they're going to keep with it here, going over to top mid very early on, and there's very little resistance from the Dignitas side. MSL still waiting for the Palace, or the Apartments push, apologies, and Rubino putting himself over here, mainly to watch, just for extra cat pressure. They decide to proceed that route again.
Rubino holding this off. Very similar start for FaZe. This time there's no real presence in the upper B tunnel still, so you don't think this is going to be a mid-B split. And that repeat from Rubino gives away the angle and goes back for it. Alu picks him off in mid. So now a free route up catwalk, and they've actually got to rotate. That's got to be Config who's got to come over to support MSL at the moment, because they can probably feel the pressure coming. And there it is. MSL is stuck at Van by this op, and they've even spotted Config jumping across. They know he's here. He goes for the repeat, can't win it. It's all on MSL, and even he falls. AZ looked a little bit blind, maybe full blind, in fact. But Dignitas quickly lose control of the B bomb site again, and Magisk and Cajun, they just have to save.
Falling away again. The hits happen so quickly. There's just no room at all for Team Dignitas to react. It's been a common theme for the past 2 or 3 rounds at least now.
I think it's about time Dignitas actually fights for mid control in maybe the next gun round, because this is a couple times they've mostly given it up. You know, the biggest pressure they've had on it is an Opera on catwalk holding an off angle. That time it gets punished. And the previous rounds, that Opera is just at a certain timing just fallen back. So this is where, I mean, it's going to be, I'm not sure if they can save these weapons on the Dignitas side, then they might be able to force buy into the next round. In fact, I think they will, because Config and Rubino will be able to get some rifles. So I think they might have one more buy in their pocket here, but they got to start putting rounds back on the board, or else FaZe is going to get control of the economy right at the end of the half, which would be a disaster for Dignitas.
Very least, Magic's boy is doing a great job of keeping it great after the situation has been lost. I think in the past 2 rounds he's gotten like 3 or 4 kills at the very least, and trying to drop the members of FaZe Clan and make sure that the money stays low. And, well, they've done a fantastic job of that, as Jacob, Rain, and AZ all sitting just around $1,000 or below it in the case of Rain and AZ.
All right, well, game on for Dignitas. They're out of money after this, and that's a great start. Config, one of the star players, gets the opening kill. That's Alu. That's the Opera as well. That's huge. Kerrigan could pick it up if you wanted to. Jacob's going to try and equalize a little bit over towards the B bomb site, but I mean, really, they have mid control at top mid, but I mean, they can't really do anything with it, missing their Opera.
Well, also being caught in a rather aggressive position for, within just that first couple of seconds of the round. He's already trying to push up the T steps when they managed to take him down. So really early on there, Config gets an advantage for the guys over here on Team Dignitas, and now it'll be their task to capitalize on that one, as FaZe Clan, of course, look to still go for that mid control, but as you're mentioning, Dignitas are actually looking to fight for this a little bit more. They've got Cajun B in window, they've got Config watching out in connector, and they still have that presence now from Rubino sitting back over here in the ladder room too, but Jacob's going to start to sneak back out, slowly get control, smokes out the connector itself so that he can sort of slowly sneak back in. The rest of his team is slowly going to follow through, but it's that window pressure that they will have to be cautious of. It's been quite a few rounds, of course, that they've had it for free, and Config is spraying out with his pistol right now. He's not even going to have any time to switch over to his weapon. Somehow he stays alive and dinks one of the T's here, but at the end of the day, it's FaZe that mount the advantage on the initial take. 2 for 1, and this goes now over to Magic's boy, who's on this big flank. He picks up 2 kills. Rain is now the last man standing, and the odds flip again. A 1v3 that he needs to try and pull off here. Gets himself to the back of the site where he is somewhat safe, but when he goes out in the open, MSL will shut it down, and the round goes into Team Dignitas' hands.
Big round for Dignitas, and it's all Magic's boy that round. I mean, he didn't even really get involved until the end, but he pushed down A ramp. He was on those stairs just holding for basically that whole round, and that's what allowed, because he's gaining so much information. He knows there's no pressure on A ramp. That's what allows his teammates to focus so much on mid. They had that set up catwalk, jungle. They had one top connector as well. So that's what allows Dignitas to have that mid control kind of focus. And then once they eventually fall, he's just in perfect position in a really rough situation to come up that ramp when FaZe isn't expecting it. So a very, very nice patient round for Magisk, and FaZe is back on just pistols this time. They were only able to string 2 together. Now it's all Dignitas. They're feeling no pressure here against these Glocks. Everyone wants a piece of the action, but it's Config, Rubino, and Cajun who get all the kills.
Dignitas shutting it out. All of a sudden, we're close yet again. FaZe will be able to buy back into this, of course, but the utility is very, very light for many of the members of FaZe Clan. Taking a look at it now, Jacob, Rain, and AZ just get smokes. Kerrigan and Alu, the only players that can even afford real utility pickups. A single flashbang for Alu, 2 for Kerrigan, so 3 flashbangs for the entire team on this round, and the 2 Molotovs as well that carry the table.
Yeah, and they're going for mid control even with limited utility. I mean, sometimes this takes a lot of nades to be able to execute effectively. Config again going for that same play he did in the 4th round. This time he doesn't get punished. He brought down low, and actually chip damage going out onto Cajun as well. Both him and Config had right around half HP. Only AZ has any real responsive damage from the Dignitas guys. So mid control established, 3 players at top mid, Jacob and underpass, but as you said, now it starts getting dire in terms of where can they go with only 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a Molotov.
And Val is slowly sneaking up here to hunt for that player that's normally hiding out in connector, at least it has been for the past 2 rounds. Same thing on Cat. They won't find it though. Dignitas have fallen back and have focused their efforts on the sites. Meanwhile, over on the B site, where it seems like this hit is going to be heading towards MSL, and Rubino will be the players to try and hold it again. Both of them with a heavy focus on Palace. Basically no resistance there on the push-up from Cat, at least until they get to the Arches area of the map here. But time getting lower. Basically just going under the minute mark here. With their players still being spread out, they will have to formulate themselves soon. Otherwise, they may run low on time to actually get into the site. Config is knocked out by AZ, who was the player lurking back over there inside of the connector. So there is some merit to it at the end of the day. But now as they push back in, Jacob finding another one. That's MSL getting knocked out. Rubino trades out one more, but he too falls to Jacob. And with that, the 4-on-2. They have Cage and B in the site, but Magic's Boy is completely disconnected. It looked like he was running away to save already, but last minute decision. They're going to try to go for this. And Cage and B almost catching a kill, but immediately shut down by Kerrigan. And Magic's Boy's indecision there is going to cost them heavily as Kerrigan whips himself out from cover to take down Magic's Boy as well.
Yeah, good response from FaZe. Once Dignitas, this was the question I had. Once Dignitas started shutting down that aggressive fast play from the first 5 rounds, FaZe has done a really good job of adjusting, even regaining control of this match after losing 4 straight. So into the last round, it's going to be a great buy for the FaZe guys. It's all right for Dignitas. They've got the Mag 7 on MSL. They've got the Ump on Magisk, but Op and 2 M4s to bring forward into this round. And here's Alu aggressive again. I think this is how he got picked off by Config just a few rounds back, hiding behind this smoke. This time he's not pushing all the way through to try and get an angle. But still, mid control has been FaZe's for the most part any round they've wanted it.
Alu again, just hoping for someone to peek back out over there in that window position. Won't be obliged by it. Everybody from Dignitas safely tucked away once again into the bomb sites themselves, but he's still going to be able to find one against Cage and Views, peeking out a connector instead. Good adjustment from him. This Molotov, I don't think is going to spread on Iconic Fleet. Actually, no, it does at the last second. He's forced to jump out, but he's actually going to get a kill off of that one, spurred on by the enemy, but it works out. He's down to 26 HP now, so the real task is surviving, getting the hell out of here, and he almost does it. Kerrigan picks him off at the last second, and they'll still hold the man advantage with that one. 4-on-3. Rubino very, very careful of them to boost the player up, and Ray now slowly starting to sneak himself out. Magic's Boy's actually not even watching for T-Ramp pressure at all, but Rubino, all of a sudden in the jungle, he's going to be able to find one. Magic's Boy finally strikes, but he too is shut down. FaZe back in control, and the 3-on-1 leaves it to MSL.
With a shotgun. Got to change that out. Not the best weapon at the moment, but all the guns are so far away. Oh, he can do nothing. There's 2 low players. This would have been so great. And there he is. He swaps it out for the M4. Still a chance here. If he can find... That's AZ in this site. If AZ gets a little bit too aggressive and falls, his teammates are incredibly low. And he even has a kit. So a chance here for MSL as he works his way around the site, using his footsteps, trying to flush players out. And AZ just plays the sound perfectly. He gets that kill, and FaZe end with 9 rounds on their T side. And
that's going to be a big lead for them, of course. We'll find out in a few moments if they're able to hold control of it, guys. Second half is coming up in just a bit. Once again, it's FaZe Clan versus Team Dignitas here at the ESL Pro League Finals, live for Brazil. All right, and we bring it back to you guys now. FaZe Clan up ahead, of course, on their CT side, but still a little bit of work to do to maintain that lead and be able to take control of this map. As Dignitas were not completely silent, of course. Starting off a little bit slowly, but they did manage to bounce back there, and although they ended behind, now they jump onto their T side. And we already saw the more aggressive style from Magic's working out well on the CT side, but oftentimes in the late round, where it didn't mean much to actually take control of things. Now we get to see that come into full fruition, of course, and hopefully be able to pick up some more rounds for the Danish roster.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I know the score, if this is two more established teams, you say that, 9-6, 9 rounds on your T side, that's phenomenal, that's great, you have a huge advantage, but, I mean, being that Kerrigan has new leadership, now these guys have all played together for a while, so it's not as bad, but the CT side can be the more difficult for teams that bring in new players, because you have some of that role confusion, you have some of that, confusion in terms of where to rotate, how you communicate what you need, so this match is far from over, especially since we've seen Dignitas come back from worse T sides just last night.
And now we see Dignitas grouping themselves up here. It's all together here as they're going to try to push themselves outside of the apartments. Jacob waiting for this one. And oh my goodness, Kerrigan and Jacob just completely clothesline both the Rubino and Magic's boy. Now they're stuck. They've got to call it off all of a sudden. And you can see MSL wrapping way back over towards T-Spawn. They're going to try to change this hit up a little bit. The other two, of course, because they were a bit detached, are going to try to go through underpass. But even that's a bit dangerous. FaZe Clan will get an easy read onto this and rotate over to A.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. Kerrigan has eyes from Catwalk onto mid, and Cajun has the only utility on the Dignitas side, so he's far away. He can't really smoke anything off. He's in upper B tunnel still away from his teammates, so unless Config and MSL are just going to try and make some kind of a distraction all on their own with no utility, yeah, Cajun needs to fall back, which he's starting to do right now as Config works his way up. That's a huge battle if he could win it. MSL is also pressuring over at A, but there goes the mid pressure, and there goes the A pressure. And Cajun is going to get a nice shot onto Alu, but 1-on-4, and he's already down to 45, although he does do great damage on the Rain after this. But where can he really go from here? He knows he's getting crunched from every different angle. All of FaZe Clan coming in to make this work. He's running out of bullets. He's got to reload. He's in a tough spot as he works his way up these stairs. And this has been a dominant pistol round from FaZe, stopping cold over at B. It's all just left to AZ to drop Cajun, and there it is.
A quick shutdown of that one at the beginning when they try to push themselves outside of the B halls there. Very quickly sends them reeling back, trying to go for a quick change over to the A side, but it's just not possible. It becomes very obvious, and obviously FaZe Clan react to that one accordingly. There's no makeup time at all for Dignitas there. So they're going to drop it, and FaZe Clan will be able to keep themselves into a strong lead situation. Without a plant, we see Dignitas investing into the second round, as you would normally expect. Deagle, armor buys for quite a few of their players, and MSL Config and Magic's boy, PT50s N or Tech 9s behind their armor.
So mid-control now for Dignitas, but what's going to come from it? The Deagles are going to be important, obviously. One smoke on Config, one on Cajun, so they have some options tactically. Actually, FaZe can peer over that smoke if anyone's going to peek, and there it is. There's the timing from Kerrigan and Alu. They do great damage. Combined for 2 kills. Kerrigan, he's going to get pressure. There's Magis with 1 more, but Kerrigan's got to hold on even more. He's got 3 kills. Can he get 4? No, Magis brings him down, but it's so low for the 2 remaining Dignitas players. It looked like there was a chance there, but Kerrigan is a rock on that defense on Catwalk. Huge plays from him, and FaZe now have a 5-round lead.
3 players go down, however, but with no plant from Dignitas, you cannot really call that a successful round. They're going to have to wait for the gun round to really be able to punish the 3 frags that they do find there. They also need to make sure that they are also able to take down quite a few of the players from FaZe on this one, where the investment becomes even less. Just a Deagle buy from Maddox Boy. That ends up being it. The rest of them are just going to roll with their default pistols, and very quickly, of course, everybody from Dignitas looks like they are just going to try to go for a direct push here into the A-bomb site after a few seconds pass by.
Yeah, now, I mean, FaZe Clan, you can see this A defense, they know there's not going to be as much pressure, there's not going to be any real investment, so playing retake, Rain very, very far back, although just as I say that, he starts pushing forward, so stay away. They've done great damage with the nades. Alu's on a big flank, so no need to actually hold this site. Rain and AZ can just fight from far back with the rifles and let the flank come to fruition. There's Rain out in the open, almost caught off, but that's the bomb down, so now it's got to be salvaged, and it might not even have time for Alu to get involved. Actually, just as I say that, he pounces from behind, and he gets all that bonus money for the Opera as well, so nicely done from FaZe managing these first 3 rounds of the second half. This is now both pistols and, 6 rounds won basically off the back of those pistols.
Diving into the last moment there, getting himself a little bit of cash to work with, but now we get into the meat and potatoes of this half. Dignitas going for the big investment, of course. 5 AKs for them to work with, and Alu's still sticking with that SMG, as it proved quite effective in the last round.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's going to be tougher this time, because he's against AKs, he's not going to get any kind of free flank like that. They're spread out across the map, running a bit of a default. AZ's going to be in connector. Cajun's the first one to probe here and he's watching for a peek, and that, I mean, look how fast they're working up Catwalk. I don't know, that isn't spotted yet. Magus actually falls to AZ, and Cajun has been damaged a little bit. There's Kerrigan, and even Jacob chiming in. It's all FaZe in this round. The Rifles are winning out, and Dignitas, they are stopped.
MSL, along with the rest of the remaining players, Dignitas don't even have any room to work with. Rubino gets dropped in mid. It's just MSL now. Rain gonna have no problem whatsoever handling that, and the only player that even takes damage in that encounter is Jacob, brought down to about 40. Everybody else is flawless. Perfect hold from FaZe Clan, and now they sit with a huge lead against Dignitas, and a pause is most certainly needed here.
Yes, I would definitely say so. I mean, they haven't even, that round, they didn't even get close to a bomb site. Trying to employ a very, similar style. Aggressive, fast pace, maybe to try and take advantage of any kind of communication error, but it wasn't to be there. FaZe handling this so well. That smoke and connector, I mean, obviously you can peer over the top of it, and AZ just picked the right moment to pounce. He's on 20 and 10. He's having a very good game. Kerrigan, like I said, specialist map for him. He's doing a little bit better than we normally see. He's at 17 and 10. Jacob at 12. Alu at 11. Rain at 9. Then on the other side, it's Magisk at 15, Rubino at 11. But this has been dominant for FaZe so far. And another round they get to have pretty light opposition.
All right, well, the pause, of course, as you know now, we're very quick, so we get right back into the action here now with Dignitas. Just going for the pistol buys once again here now. Magisk will be the only player picking up armor, and he's going to downgrade to a P250. Everybody else picking up Deagles, Tech 9s, or an additional P250 in the case of Cajun. But they can't really do anything super advanced with this type of buy. They've sent a couple players back over here to the back halls. That, however, will change itself pretty quickly into mid-control, and Magisk boy, just no luck at all for him. Al is able to hear that stomping away as he doesn't waste any time trying to get himself back into mid, and the nice toss-away nade brings him down to 32 HP, right even finding MSL, so already they're down a player.
Jacob's the next one to challenge. Config, probably a little bit closer than expected, but an easy battle to win as it is. Yeah, FaZe, I mean, they just seem to be having no trouble whatsoever. I mean, we saw in the NIP Energy match, those teams were kind of trading some half buys, some force buys, some eco losses. Here, FaZe has had no problems with them whatsoever, and now with this kind of a lead and that kind of a first half, they're playing very, very confident with how they're peaking. So now we're going to see the op in Cajun B. We're also going to see, I assume we'd see it on Alu at this point. And yes, we will.
Not a lot of time left, however, for the players on Dignitas to really bounce back into this one. So it needs to be victories from this point forward if they want to have any chance of taking control of this map, and that's a huge streak to ask for of these guys. They may have just run out of fuel. They've got one last round to prove it, and if not, they go on to a really sketchy force buy for themselves with FaZe Clan having all the advantages in the world they could ask for. Early on in this round, actually very heavy on the A-bomb site. 4 players stacked here, leaving only Jacob to defend B, should the Dignitas roster eventually move out to there. And also, mid-control, much like in the last half with Dignitas, is basically being handed over. They're not resisting it at all, so if FaZe Clan want to move from top mid to go into an A split or even work their way onto Cat, they're not really going to have much trouble lining that up.
4 players at A, though, so, I mean, it's very light mid-control. It's mostly just AZ spotting it at the moment, and he could get picked off by Cajun. This would be huge if he could find that. Doesn't look like AZ's going to give him the peek, and Cajun's going to capitalize on it. So delayed peek, and, I mean, this is the problem. I mean, the same thing that Dignitas ran into on their own CT side when you have that passive of a mid-defensive setup. Gives a lot of room for the terrorists to gain angles and advantages. The bomb is dropped very far away. It's actually back towards the stairwell that goes into the B tunnel. So, I mean, despite this map control, Magisk is going to run all the way back. And this is giving a chance here for Kerrigan. He's pushed down lower ramp. He's going to be flanking. He's grabbing all the intel. This could actually be dangerous for Dignitas, because this is going to be the bomb dropped if Kerrigan wins this match. Oh, Magisk! The little drop, Kerrigan gets thrown off by it. That's huge.
Oh, Magisk, of course, responding with an instant headshot. Rubino starts hunting for things outside of Palace. Rain, however, is still going to try to get aggressive against Magisk. Point, he catches him with his, I believe it was a grenade, and of course, as he was still switching over to it. So that is the drop of the bomb that we were looking for just a few moments ago. However, when tested again, Config immediately catches the trade. Down to just 2 now for the FaZe Clan roster. Alu hunting for it, an instant snap onto Rubino. Very well played from him. All of a sudden, things aren't looking so bright and dandy anymore for the Dignitas roster. They're still trying to push themselves into the site. Alu's got this Molotov to try to deny, only 10 seconds on the clock, and actually they're going to be able to stop the bomb planter. It's on now, and Jacob moving in. He's going to try to stop it. They will be able to get the bomb onto the ground, but I doubt MSL is going to be able to do much about this. An incredible comeback from FaZe, and they remain in the lead here, 15-6 against Dignitas.
What a win from FaZe in this round as the clock is dwindling. The Molotov, and even, I mean, Dignitas had to try and get that bomb planted, but it leaves a 2-on-1, and that's where Jacob gets aggressive and finds a kill. Sick round from FaZe to recover there. It looked like they just had no chances. Once Magisk Boy took out Kerrigan, you're thinking there's really not too much they can do to get back into it. That is sick stuff, and FaZe is winning all the battles, all the important situations in this map.
Now FaZe with that victory too. Dignitas, they get their one last buy into this one as they at the very least escaped with the plat. That is the one saving grace. They do carry over into this one now. So they'll still have full utility, full AKs, everything they could ask for, but this is it now. They're on the full losing bonus and they've been on this for quite some time. That was as well their first plant in the entire half as well. So off of that one, they have a lot of room to recover still if they want to have any chance of tying this up to take it to OT, but things are certainly not looking great. Maxboy leads the charge to try and push himself inside.
I mean, yeah, if you've got to win 9 straight here, and if you've only gotten one plant in the past 6 rounds, you're just not having a lot of success to begin with. Even that last plant, you could say, was barely a plant in the sense that there was no chance of them winning the post plant afterwards. So Cajun's going to work his way into connector, and actually look at this. It's going to be an explosion. MSL, Cajun, Config all coming through the smoke, but it's going to be AZ who gets aggressive. That's the bomb down. He doesn't realize he's ran past 2 players, though. They've actually traded spots. MSL, he gets a kill onto Alu, which alerts everyone to it, and there's Rain, but AZ's still doing damage. Can he do more? No, he does do a little bit of damage, but the bomb, that's the big thing, because they have to go recover it, and Kerrigan's got eyes.
Kerrigan actually a bit cautious too. The player pushing him from top mid. Magicboy just barely ends up winning that battle. Survives with 6 HP, and now it falls to Jacob in the 1v3. He will still be able to challenge directly to push going in, and that's almost the bomb carrier going down. Drops him to just 10 HP, but he survives. Now he tries to push back out, but it's the first player at high HP to take down, and Rubino, everyone, look at that. That's like a combined HP of about 40 between all 3 of those players. Dignitas somehow survive, and it keeps them in the game for a little bit longer.
That's unreal. Still plenty of money built up on the FaZe side of things. Op is back out on Alu. They still have all the rifles they'll need, all the utility they need. So long route to go. Dignitas now just need 8. They can't afford an AWP in Cajun's hands, but that round they catch FaZe a little bit off guard. A good explosion through that connector smoke, but look at the defense, the swap. Rain and Alu going to get aggressive on Catwalk. Jacob's going to be alone in the B bomb site for now.
Alu starts to push himself outwards here too a little bit to see if he can catch some of that top mid aggression that's been a constant theme from Dignitas, much like it was from FaZe Clan in the last half here.
It's the same off angle that Dignitas was holding. Rubino and Cajun both had that angle that Alu was looking at in the first half. The question is, how long is he going to stay here, and is he going to choose to get any more aggressive with this kind of peak? Because he's got AZ and Connector, and he's got Rain in the ladder room, so he's got some support. They've got a lot of bodies here to be able to actually defend against this.
Config starting to look first back over here. Bit of a nade. Bites him down to 64 HP, but shouldn't hurt them too much. Now they're actually trying to get this onto his site, but FaZe Clan are holding close quarters, specifically Alu. MSL's going to be able to take him down, but Rain with a quick response. Now they know he's inside a ladder, and they try to bait it out, but he actually has managed to get himself a second kill before going down to Rubino. Now it goes to a 3v3. Magicboy's been spotted. Jacob with a nice shot takes him out, and now just 2 still up and standing here.
Over rotation, though, they've all gone on market, and Config's going to get a huge backstab. Kerrigan, he's going to fall, but it took too long. Config cannot recover in time. It's just down to Rubino. That kill wasn't clean enough from Config the first time around. Rubino's at least going to get the plant, but it's going to be a 2-on-1, and it's all on him to keep Dignitas in this.
Plants it on the right side at the very least, as both are proceeding back out over here towards Cat, so he will be able to directly challenge this if he wants to. Falls back for now, though, just in the event they did rotate through market, of course, but now they're storming in. They're not wasting any time at all. Rubino's got all this utility, but he hasn't used any of it yet, and he's already lost the site now, too. He's stuck back over here on Ticket. Still planted for him, of course, so the round's not lost yet, but he's got to start to work all ready to get himself back into the control of this one. Hopefully with that utility, he can still do it, but as he starts to inch back up here, they start on the defuse. The first tap there, they commit to it on the second time. Rubino able to grab that kill, but AZ trades it out, and with that, that's going to close things down. FaZe Clan take control of this map. 16-7 is going to be the final scoreline here. They remain victorious and add another point to their group stage run.
Yeah, what a beautiful match from FaZe. Both halves, they grabbed control so quickly and so early. First 5 rounds in the first half, first 6 rounds in the second half. I mean, 11 rounds on the board before Dignitas was even able to respond to, across those streaks. So impressive from them. I thought the CT side would be a little bit more difficult, and it just wasn't. They were just dominant from start to finish. That T side was really well put together. Especially when you get those first 5 rounds as T-side, obviously you're expecting to get more throughout the half, but it gives you that cushion where even if you run into some pressure, even if you go on a 3-4 round losing streak, you still look at the scoreboard and see that you're up a round. You know, it's mentally not as effective when you go in a losing streak when you're already up. So that's really nice for FaZe Clan to be able to get those hot starts.
And with that, guys, FaZe Clan add another point to their run here, whereas Dignitas falls short their first one here now, as they will unfortunately be able to drop this match. But with FaZe Clan, it's claiming that one, of course, we have some analysts waiting to break down this match and discuss it a little more, so let's send it over to them to talk a bit more about FaZe versus Dignitas.
It happened. Dignitas show they can bleed and that they can concede a loss here in Brazil. It was FaZe who take it away from them, and in a pretty sterling fashion, a 16-7 result, seeing FaZe Clan roar at the top of their lungs as they take that one. A coherent unit from FaZe and Carrigan whipping them into shape.
Yeah, they definitely needed to get into that mood.
That.
You know, they needed to get the momentum going. And we were saying how the win conditions for FaZe probably is getting either both pistols or having a strong start, having control over the economy, and that's exactly what they managed to do. Win both pistols, 5-0 start in the first half, and you know, good play all around.
Yeah, that 5-0 start was pretty interesting to me. So they lost pistol, that's fair enough. You know, then the first gun round, Config got picked early and middle. And then the round fell apart there. I think you made a tweet about it where MSL got flanked and Rubino could have probably stopped him.
Yeah.
But that round, you know, and then you're down 5 rounds. At that point, I was like, okay, you know, this is okay. That they've only lost 1 gun round. We're going to see them step up. They did stop the bleeding there and they started to play better. But the thing that I noticed was they were pretty happy to give up middle and just leave Config to be the caretaker of mid. Normally you want to be, if a team wants mid a lot, like FaZe were, you want to go for some mid control and show them that it's not that easy. You have to use a lot more utility. Right. You have to brute force your way in there. You can't just take it at, you know, your own whim.
Or if you want to give out mid control, then take control somewhere else.
Yeah,
have something, a setup in place. Either try to take control maybe of ramp to get info. What they did was give out mid control and play B passively with 2 rifles.
Yep.
And that's something that barely ever going to work. You can't have the bait setup like a guy on white van and another guy on B plat, so then you're baiting for your teammate or something of the sort. But I would have preferred, if they're going to play passively, get an op in bench and having watch short and another player on balcony. But yeah, I agree. I think they gave too much control to FaZe.
Too much control given. Now, in terms of the other win conditions you outlined, was there a particular player that caught your eye? Was that a genuine team effort? Normally, with most of FaZe's performances in the past, it was X played well, Y played well, and it doesn't seem like we're falling almost into a bit more of a cohesive unit already.
I think it was a team effort. Maybe AZ was a little bit, you know, above the rest. And we forgot to mention that, actually. AZ did play with Dignitas at the WSG tournament, which obviously can be only players from one country. So AZ was there instead of Rubino. So, you know, maybe has a bit more insight on how they like to play, how they like to hold as well. In the second half, again, FaZe wins pistol, and you can see Dignitas wants to go for a fast connector push in the first gun round. And basically, that's a play where you're committed fully. All the Molotovs are being thrown around, smokes. And that one smoke in connector from FaZe basically stops that push all around, stops them in their tracks. You know, not something that maybe they would have liked to have happened, but yeah, after that point, it was just a matter of time before FaZe closes it out.
For me, I think Carrigan's in-game leadership was probably the standout. Like, I know that sounds silly to say, but I've played the FaZe unit over different iterations of the lineup in the past, and I've watched them play, and the way that they conduct themselves on the T side when they're losing is they just throw executes at it and hope something sticks, right?
Right.
This time they were making a lot better decisions. They were probably being told what to do and what sides to hit, and the mix-ups of paces and the way that they're attacking sites. And it wasn't just the same. They weren't just executing onto A. Yeah. They were executing mid. They were executing B apps. They were doing a lot of different stuff. And when you do that, it's hard for a team to read. And this is something which a lot of people don't realize. If you're a new unit and you just have a new style, your in-game leaders has a whole new system for your team, it's hard for the opposition to counter it because it's so new. There's literally no record of it. And this is a thing, I want teams to try and be as dynamic as possible going forward, right? As soon as people figure out FaZe, that's the problem. You need to stay ahead of that.
Is there a difference between dynamic and unpredictable, or are you using them in the same context in this discussion?
Well, one comes from the other. By being dynamic, you're being unpredictable as the opponents can't really get a read on what you want to do. The thing that stood out for me was, I know that Carrigan had problems in Astralis, you know, getting players to maybe go through smokes or believe in his call no matter what's in front of them. But here with that B split that we saw from FaZe, you could see, I know Jaken was one player, I don't know who the other was in B apps. They're running through a smoke with 30 seconds left, but they know that because there's a smoke there's probably a player just beside. So as they're running through the smoke, they start spamming towards the right side, and that's exactly where MSL was. And you know, if you hesitate there, that execute can fall apart completely. If that player can shoot your teammates towards short, then turn his attention towards you, that buys enough time for the rotate to come in. You really need to commit, and that's what FaZe did, and props to them.
It really is a relationship meant to be. If you think about the ingredients involved, FaZe so hungry for a leader, Karrigan so desperate for a team to buy into his system, to trust his cause and to embrace the calls he's making both mid-round and prior to the game. And it does seem like FaZe have found that as I try and get my words out. Something else I recommend you get out is your smartphone, because the Score Esports application is a great way for you to stay up to date with the games that are going down. There's so many maps going on. The fact that over the course of these 2 days we'll have played 15 best of ones, probably good to get your head around it using that application, so do be sure to check it out and also understand exactly who is going out. Admittedly, it looks like the Score Esports has posted that NRG will not be able to complete, but there is a very marginal chance that they could make it through. You were telling me there's a possibility for like a 17,000 way draw.
Yeah, I think we were fact-checking Liquipedia, or Graham was, and you can have if Cloud9 go undefeated and top the group, I think it's 5-0, then there is a chance for a 5-way tie between the other teams where they all go 2-3, I think it is.
They do have to get 2 wins for that to happen, though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
so I'm with Wikipedia on this
pretty
one.
close.
Anything's possible. Just Counter-Strike.
Anything is possible. Okay. A bit of KG.
Yeah, I mean, basically, never ever look at Yanko's music taste. I recommend you never do that, because he is a DJ Yanko, great at parties, not so
MC
great.
Yanko.
Oh, MC, excuse me. Right, let's go ahead and take a break before we dive any further into the cesspool that is this desk. Instead, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back with your final game. It's going to be Cloud9 SK, a North America versus South America affair. We hope to see you there.